This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes, for your half-assed entertainment news with no bullshit, with our hosts, the Baroness and Bear Fiorda, only on Talk 4 Media.
G'day guys, welcome to Behind the Scenes. I'm your host, the Baroness of Ayrshire and Glenlyon, Summer Helene, and we are on with my co-host, the guy whose heart stops at the thought of being sick. Get it? I thought that was funny.
That's hilarious.
Bear Fiorda, who's actually going to have to go see a cardiologist because he's dying.
Yes. So unfortunately, in the unfortunately, in the last month or so, we what is that word? We start with a con, like we caught it. We conducted, we contracted, excellent. We contracted bird flu. Apparently, it gave me brain fog, but
it did. One of the things, he's got brain fog. He's got heart issues.
Yes,
he's
more
got
importantly,
all of these problems.
More importantly, is the heart issue though, because of course I'm a fighter, and that takes away my ability to train and be physically active. Because even having an extended conversation can be quite fatiguing, all because of that damn
Sitting
flu.
here is quite fatiguing. I'm tired. I'm pink. Look at the color of
You're
my face.
beautiful.
This is under makeup.
You are stunning.
You're pink too.
I'm always pink.
You are more pink than usual.
I've been pink since I was a kid in elementary school. You know what? I was shades of Patrick Star. That's what I was.
And I'm sure you can fix it.
With enough medical science advancement, anything's possible, right?
Are you a Mexican or a Mexicant? I'm just saying.
It's funny. It's part of my heritage to never talk about because I don't think about it, you know?
I'm just saying. I just want an excuse to make that joke.
That's a good joke.
But realistically, I think we're at a place where I want to die. That's all it is.
It's not super.
If you get a chance to get bird flu, I strongly recommend against it.
If you get a chance to catch bird flu.
I gave it to my entire team. Everyone hates me. My assistant nearly died. Bear has, these heart issues. I'm persona non grata at work.
But you know whose team hates them more than your team hates you?
Who?
Blake Lively's team.
That is true. That woman has absolutely screwed up. I feel bad. I keep saying the only way to save her career at this point is she needs to turn around and go, look, I grew up in the industry. I had these, I've had issues with sexual assault before. It's been to court. You all know that. So I misread this situation. He made me deeply uncomfortable. I'm really, clearly I read this wrong. I'm really sorry. Ryan Reynolds needs to turn around and say, hey, I backed my wife. I would again. Idea. I'm sorry for any hurt it caused. And then dip, pay him off.
And then dip, get out of there.
Yeah.
No, but because again, it's every time she drags it on with another story, another installment of the situation, she's just kind of making her situation worse and less believable to the audience. I think at the very beginning,
that's because
she could have stuck with the whole hey, I felt harassed. That's what it is, But ultimately, you're right. She was lying. She was trying to steal the movie. That was the goal. And so it started coming out that way.
The thing that bugs me about Americans, not all of them, but a lot of them,
okay,
y'all seem, thank you very much, to mix up the truth and my truth.
Oh, the emotional side with what's actually going on.
I don't give a damn about the emotional side. There is no such thing. Facts don't care about feelings.
No, they don't.
They don't. And so I talk to Americans and they're like, well, this is how it feels to me. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care how it feels. What actually happened?
And what actually happened is she tried to take the movie. I think she tried to assault him or trying to invite him to do things to her, quite frankly.
Yeah, she was trying to get jiggy with him.
That kind of came out. And I love that it came out after Ryan already stepped in publicly to help defend her and support her in this trying time. But they are running a little bit of PR because he made a couple of jokes about it at the SNL thing.
Yeah, that was the dumbest thing he could have done.
They're trying to...
That'll save Ryan's reputation, but it's going to screw hers. So essentially, by doing that at SNL, what they've done is turn around and they're making a joke. It was like using Nice Pool. You can't turn around and be like, my wife felt like she was in danger. I'm going to make jokes about it.
What else are you going to do? I mean, yes, they need to come clean. Let's say coming clean and owning it and be like, hey, my bad doesn't come true. But what if they don't do that? What's the next best option,
Never explain, never complain.
Oh, just go with the royal silent and move on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm telling my assistant to take the phone. I'm trying to think of a nice. I'm trying to think of a nice way of saying it. But the royals have it right, not the ones in America. They are more problematic than Blake Lively.
We have royals in America.
Yes.
Oh, not like the royal family, like the individuals who come and stay.
Oh, you have a lot of royals. I'm doing a whole TV show on it about royals in America.
Yeah, I know we had like Prince Mario Max, we have Prince Medici, but I didn't think we had like a whole.
No, you do. You've got Harry and Meghan. I'm sorry for that.
Not royals.
They are. That's the problem.
It wouldn't surprise me if she's friends with Blake Lively at this point.
She is. It was a whole thing. Oh, she's trying to be.
That's not good support.
But when Meghan Markle and Amber Heard are the two people standing up for you, that is not going well.
That's a good sign that something's
wrong.
That's
Speaking of people that Blake Lively and Amber Heard are not standing up for, I'd like to invite to the show Vincent. Vincent, what do you think about the Blake Lively situation? I'm just curious on your take.
Honestly, I didn't even hear about what happened.
So Blake Lively tried to take a show from the director. She accused him of sexual assault. Had him banned or sexual harassment, had him banned from the set. Turns out he kept receipts. He trusted her so little, he kept receipts, videos of every interaction they had, because he clocked her for exactly what she was, because she has a history of doing this with productions and co-stars. And so he clocked her and went, nope. And so every time she's like, he did this at this time, he released the video. Then she tried to put a gag order on him, stopping him from releasing the videos to the public, disproving what she was saying.
I applaud him.
Yeah, so do I.
It's a shame. Why do all that? Why lie? You know, if we're going in here to be a team and accomplish something, it's a shame that you have to record people nowadays, because you never know who's genuine or who's telling the truth or who's trying to scam you. So I applaud him.
When you think about the modern day today, where it's so easy to kind of blow up based on someone else's mistakes, what they say, how they act, it's kind of encouraging people to want to pull out the camera at all moments. What could I possibly catch? What's going to go viral?
Well,
what can help propel my career?
It's more than that. She was loved up. If you're on a set and you've got your lovely, anyone be aware of this. If you're mic'd up, it's being recorded and they can hear you. It doesn't matter if you're supposed to be rolling sound. You can be heard. When you run into the bathroom with that mic on, everything is heard all the time.
Right. I mean, I remember back in the day, it's like your word is your bond, you know, whatever I say, or you can have a handshake and it meant something. Yeah. Now, I mean, you can even sign a contract now and it doesn't mean anything. Somebody is still trying to figure out a way to get out of it. So
society has come to a place where it's all about me. It's not a collective anymore. If you look at how Americans and no slight to Americans, I'm just saying, if you look at how you'll vote, if you look at how you'll handle things, everything is about me, how I feel, what I want. There's no collective responsibility.
Yeah. And it's all, to me, it's all about social media, the internet. I feel like it's the best and the worst thing ever made, because it gives people a platform to be something that they really aren't. You know, be a tough guy or be sexy or whatever, have the videos or the pictures from here up, and then you be 400 pounds, but your face is pretty. So, I mean, it gives you opportunity to be somebody that you really aren't.
Didn't you get catfished like that?
I did, actually. It's funny you said that. When I was younger, before I met Summer, I got catfished like that, exactly.
I tell them.
Showed up to the date. I was polite the whole time. At the end of it, she turned to me and she says, "We're not going on a second date, are we?" I said, No, we are not. I left. That was it.
Man, I've even heard of something called hat fishing.
And what is
hat fishing is pretty much the guy wears a hat all the time. And, you can see like some hair on the side, but then all of this is missing. Like George Jefferson. Yeah. So they wear the hat all the time, so you can't really see the big bald spot. Or, nowadays they even have hats where hair is connected to it.
I don't get that. Like, so guys go bald, for the audience out there, because they have high testosterone levels. Why do you want the guy, especially as you get older, that has no testosterone? I'm just saying.
Yeah. I remember I cut my hair back in the early 90s. Because of LL Cool J.
Yep.
I thought the women loved bald dudes. And I remember this like it was yesterday. I was in college. And my roommates, when I came out that restroom, they was like, man, you look stupid as hell. And I was so hurt, man. It took a long time for me to, get used to being bald. But I mean, I could grow hair, but it was just back then I just wanted to try something different, and I've stuck with this ever since.
But it's a good image, and I just want to say this too. If you were a lady and all your lady friends were there with you when you shaved your head, you would have had the emotional support you need. But you would go out thinking you looked awesome. At least your friends are like, "Hey, man, I tell you the truth right now."
Right.
You got a great look with no hair on.
And it was two. It was. I mean, they hear this. They hear this. But it was two unattractive dudes who didn't even get no women with nice haircuts. So I'm just like, I don't even know why I even listened to them. Made me feel bad about me cutting my hair, but I think I'm all right now.
If the guys can't get booty, maybe don't listen to them on how to get booty. I tell everyone that with Andrew Tate. Why are you listening to him? He has to buy women.
Yeah. That's a new show. How to Get Booty.
They tried that with those pickup artists. They did that years ago in like the 90s. There were those pickup artists. I was like, you have to run a game to get laid.
Yeah. No, listen. This is the greatest advice I ever heard from an incel in his car. Okay, just if you want a lady, every time she says no, you just treat it like it's a yes that hasn't become a yes yet, and you'll get there. Okay.
Oh.
That's how you catch charges.
That's how you catch charges.
Right. That's what I was like,
no, but that's what it's devolved to. People think that that's what's devolved to. People just give out the most ridiculous information, having zero experience. Because it one can get them followers or money, but two, it probably a little self gratification. If people agree with me on the internet, then I feel better about myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with no means no.
Yes, please, and that's the best way. I mean, you're a woman. Would you like that to be the case?
What?
No meaning no.
No, that would be a nice change.
Okay, there you go.
Would be, you go out with the guy that's respectful. No means no. You go out with a guy that isn't, then you get he gets grabby and you have to break a finger. It's just
is what it is. Unfortunately, it's the way of life like that.
But that's my problem. Lively
I remember back in my player days, it was like it was a feeling. You know what I mean? You kind of felt like if it was some chemistry there. And nowadays, every time I turn on a video or something, I hear guys always complaining about like they have to pay for the women. If we go on a date, he got to pay for the woman's babysitter, outfit, hair. I'm like, man, these women have turned into prostitutes. I'm glad I'm married and I ain't got to worry about all of that.
Well, it's like paying. That is insane. That is what's wrong with just going out with somebody because you like them?
No, I've also seen videos where people the woman would bring their kids or take food home to the kids from from the date or whatnot. I'm like, man, I would never do any of that. I'm not paying for your food and paying for your kids' food for you to take it home. Nah, that's doing too much. This is the first date.
It's the audacity that catches me. We live in a world now where people are so audacious. They feel entitled to everything. It's you're treating me, but I am entitled to take your money for my own personal needs, wants, and desires that have nothing to do with
that's all anything is. If you look at audacity, politics is now just audacity, who can yell louder. You have media is just audacity, who can get the most attention. And apparently dating is too. It seems like audacity is the way of, I can't say the world, but America right now.
It seems to be the way of the future, at least.
I don't think so.
I mean, you guys have to be a little bit audacious to be successful, right? Like you have to push for career opportunities or roles in films and movies. Don't you have to be your own advocate sometimes?
Oh, yeah. But you have nice people like Vincent, who, every time a role comes up that even, he could go for. I'm like, what about Vincent? Like I've talked to people and then it turns out they were already looking at him. That Jimmy Star was one of those. And so it's people like to work with people they like.
Yeah.
And you have to it has to be about your character. It has to be, you can't be just a butthole and cocky and all that stuff. One thing, if anybody attacks my character or lie on my character, then that's when I get upset. Because if you know me or my reputation, I'm not that type of person. You know, I'm gonna be on time. I'm gonna have my stuff together. I'm not gonna give anybody any problems. I honestly call myself a true professional. I treat people the way that I want to be treated if I was in charge.
You have
That's
an excellent
excellent.
reputation because of that. So what would you say to young people and young men especially that watch this show that want to be in the entertainment industry?
Don't believe everything you, first of all, don't judge your career off of somebody else's career that you see on TikTok or Instagram, because you have to remember people only put the positive stuff on there. They don't put, oh, how I'm gonna pay my rent or my mortgage or my car note, when they sitting over in the corner crying about stuff. And anything that's given to you like this, you might not want it. Sometimes it's best to work for it and just be patient and have faith and, connect with people and just be good to people. When I say good to people, I don't mean kiss nobody's butt or, jump over hoops and loops and all that other stuff, but just be good to people. And eventually it'll happen. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. And I say that all the time. It takes time.
Do you
It
personally
also
have
takes consistency.
Yeah,
and I
of
think
course.
people don't want to put the work in. Like they look at Sabrina Carpenter and people are like, she was an overnight success. No, she's been in the industry since she was like 6. She was on Girl Meets World. She had the album that went off with Espresso was her 6th album, not her first.
People thought The Walking Dead was the first thing I ever done. Like,
really?
What? It's like, what do you mean? It's because it was the most popular, but still, it's like you didn't see Bring It Down the House, Traffic, True Blood, all those other things. No, well, that's why you think this is my first thing.
I love that you're in True Blood. I absolutely. I didn't watch True Blood. It terrified me. Any of the vampire stuff.
Oh.
I'm afraid of it. I'm a wimp. But I thought it was really, really cool.
You mentioned a moment ago that you're not where you want to be, but you're further than you used to be. What is your end goal for your career?
Man, I have 14 grandkids. My end goal is to leave a legacy for them.
Okay.
And just be a positive role model to even the people that I don't know. Because sometimes the people that you don't know support you more than the people that you do know. And put my parents in a position where they don't have to want for anything, or and my wife, just being a positive role model that people can look up to and be like, man, if he did it, I can do it. And I just don't want to be known as Oscar from The Walking Dead. My goal is to win an Oscar. So
yeah, that's great.
I just want to inspire, teach, preach, motivate, and be that person that strangers can ask questions. Don't get creepy with it. But, if you want to know anything about the industry, I'm here. Because I didn't have that. When I first moved out here in 2000 from Ohio, I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know who to ask questions. I didn't know about this, that. So I would like to be in a position that I can be able to help people more.
I love that when you said that. I want anyone who can look at me and think, man, if that guy can do it, then I can do it. You're really putting away like the I guess the belief that all Hollywood's nepotistic. Like, you have to be part of the big family. You have to know someone to get in there, but anyone can kind of push their way in. What does it really take, though, to kind of make those steps? Like, if I'm a kid who wants to be in Hollywood, but I don't know anybody to get involved in it, what should I do?
Well, I mean, now the only thing you can do is research, or you can just reach out to somebody and hopefully they hit you back. I think what a lot of times when you're at a certain position in your career, I don't want to say obligated, but I'm gonna say obligated to be able to tell somebody something. It's only gonna take 1 or 2 minutes to give them some advice. It doesn't hurt. You have to remember where you started from. I remember my first big role was in a movie called Traffic with Michael Douglas, Catherine Zeta-Jones, a whole bunch of A-list stars. And that was before I moved here to California. I actually shot it in Ohio. When I moved to LA, I just knew everything was gonna be peaches and cream. I couldn't even get an agent once I got here. I'm like, wait a minute, I was just in Ocean's 11, but it's more than that. I had to learn this industry and learn what it took to even become SAG or SAG eligible, or learn how to, what to do on set. So when you're on set, even if you're extra or a stand-in, try to learn as much as you can.
Would you say that you're more likely to learn on set or in an actual training course?
On set.
I would say on set, because I never been to a training course. I never took any classes, so I wouldn't know. I'm sure classes can teach you some things, but it's nothing like learning at the place that you're trying to be at.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Every time I get someone from film school, they're like, it should go like this. I'm like, that might be ideal, but that isn't what's going to happen. When everything hits the fan, it's all hands on deck. Like it's great. Film school teaches the ideal world. And every time I hire somebody from film school, and it's always a PA, it's always like their first, like, but that's not how that's supposed to go. I'm like, if you touch what the Teamsters have, they'll beat you to death with it. Just don't touch it.
Oh yeah. I remember I was Terry Crews's personal stand-in for years on Everybody Hates Chris. And I was probably the only stand-in that had a stand-in, because I was like, this is not my career. This is something to pay the bills.
Yeah.
We had a good time on there, and I learned about the lighting, sound, everything. And I used to tell all the other stand-ins, we're gonna do these lines. I'm gonna act like Terry Crews. You're gonna act like Tashina Arnold. And we're gonna do these lines like we're the characters. And what happened with that is, every week we had a different director. So a lot of times those directors would go to other shows and they will remember me acting like Terry Crews and be like, hey, what is Vincent available this week? Yes. Then I have a contract. I played 7 different parts on Everybody Hates Chris. I worked with 3 other directors outside of Everybody Hates Chris because they was a director on Everybody Hates Chris.
Got it.
But it's building those relationships. You're showing them you have talent, 2, you're reliable, and 3, building that relationship. That's incredibly important.
Yeah, most definitely. And I remember, I take pride on being on time. And I remember this one particular day, they had changed us from being on a stage to being on what they call New York Street. New York Street looks like New York Street. Looks like a street in New York, but it's on Paramount Studios.
You're over at Paramount. Yeah, I'm like, I know where you. Okay.
Yeah, and I remember I didn't know because I didn't work the day before. And so I get there and I'm like, where's everybody at? Whoop-de-whoop. And then some guys like, yeah, they're on New York Street. So I'm running to get to New York Street. And I tell you, I was maybe 2 minutes late. They was the first DP was he was making some speech. And then he pointed at me and he was like, and look at this guy being late. And I was just a stand-in. And I looked at him and I was furious. I mean, I've been working there 4 years, never been late, ever. I pulled him to the side and I said, man, don't you ever talk to me like that in front of everybody. I said, I've done nothing but be professional, on time. You guys didn't tell me that you was down here on New York Street. Now, I should have been fired that day for saying that to the first AD. But it hit me, man, because it's like, don't do that. Don't try to embarrass me because whatever you're going through that day.
Right.
You know what he said to me? Man, I apologize. You've been here for us when you didn't have to. And the point I'm making, sometimes you have to speak your mind. If somebody's making you feel some kind of way, you have to address it. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't do it in front of everybody. I pulled him to the side, even though he did it in front of everybody to me. And we were cool. I mean, we were already cool. I just couldn't believe he'd done that. So.
No, you gave him more respect than he gave you in that point. Was he
but that forces him to give you more respect going forward.
Right.
Yeah. If anything, he should apologize in front of everybody like he embarrassed me in front of everybody.
Absolutely. Do you think was in his mind he was making a joke, or was it like, this guy's
no, he was serious.
Oh,
he was serious.
So bad.
It was serious. It was not a well thought out response. You'll see that especially with directors, ADs, when they're talking to the crew and they're trying to pump up the crew and they're trying to go through the day, they will call out what's going on around them. And if they haven't put a lot of thought into it, like he probably didn't think about how often Vincent is there, how far he's gone above and beyond. He's tore him out right in that moment and not realizing that he's risking losing Vincent, losing that relationship.
The guy that they keep asking for to come on set.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So. I couldn't believe it. It's just like, you know, the whole situation with Chris Rock and Will Smith. For me, if I was Chris Rock, I would never forgive Will Smith. For the simple fact, you smacked me in front of millions of people. I need you to apologize in front of millions of people. You can't just apologize to me one-on-one. I need everybody else to know that you apologize and, you know, you were in the wrong for what you done.
Well, he was smart about it. He put his hands behind his back. He's like, I'm not engaging. Like, this is not happening. Like, it was ridiculous. And you feel bad for Will Smith because, you know, he married Jada and his life sucks, and pretty much anyways, his children are monsters. But
hey, life is about choices.
I agree.
It wasn't forced.
He's a nice man. Like I think he's a very nice man. And you know, I've always found him to be a very, very nice man.
Yeah, me too. I was shocked. I was shocked.
That surprised the hell out of me that he behaved like that. So I'm like, did something break? Like,
no, he had already gotten so much public scrutiny over that relationship, and all he needed to do was turn and see her unhappy, and that was it. That's all it took.
Wasn't she sleeping with his son's friend or something?
At some point.
The singer dude. Yeah, she admitted it. Yeah. They was in he called it an entanglement.
I was like, yeah, I gotta tell you, I just no. Yeah. She's always been problematic. She is what she is.
Yeah, we've been talking about problematic people like Blake Lively, but she's like, she made him go on the podcast to talk about it, and then he's like, he starts crying, so they zoom in on his face. Can you tell me what you're feeling right now?
Yeah,
can you explain to me how it's going for you?
That was dark. That's the moment you're like, I know they talk about narcissism in Hollywood, but that's
oh wow.
Like, what would you do? Your wife is like, you're heartbroken. Your wife's like, zoom the camera in on him.
What would I do? Oh, it wouldn't happen. Ain't no what would I do. Nah.
Leave. Never show up to the interview.
Man, please. Call Diddy. Be like, hey, I need somebody to take
That's dog. Well, that's the other one.
Call Diddy.
Call Diddy. Well, Diddy's in a lot of
trouble. Yeah. Diddy in super trouble.
Those pictures of Justin Bieber have come out apparently when he was 15. I'm like, oh.
Well, I mean, but you know, that's been talked about for years. Justin Bieber and Usher.
Yep.
You know, that they were taking advantage of when they were going to Diddy had a Diddy camp. He had something called Diddy Camp for up and coming singers. And it's a shame. It's sad.
He blackmailed everyone. With Will Smith, he blackmailed him about being gay. That was the big thing. Like, everyone with Will Smith was like, you know, there was never any underage guys. There was never anything like that. It was just about guys. And it was in the 90s that he'd been blackmailing him since. And I was like, and, you know, it's coming out. Everyone's talking about, you know, Will Smith and these guys. And I was like, dude, it's 2025. Nobody cares.
Who cares?
Nobody cares. It's not 95. You don't have Fresh Prince. You're fine. Nobody cares. Like,
I would actually respect you more if you just came out and said it.
Yeah. And it's like, and it's cool. You're gay, you buy it. I really don't care. It's not my problem. I'm more worried about the kids that were involved. So every time the press goes back to Will Smith, I'm like,
you know, talking about his kids, did you see what his son went on the Grammys red carpet looking like?
Oh, with that hat?
He had a mention on his head. I don't know if he was being punished or if it was his own idea, but either way, it was a miss.
He's worn some weird stuff over the years. I think that's just his way of getting attention. But one thing I do like is that he's opening up a restaurant for homeless people that they don't have to pay for anything.
He also did that bottle thing really, he's done some amazing things. The fact that his parents were like weirdly involved in Scientology, and his, you know, mom is a bit of a loop, but they're not going to be normal. But
good friend, you know, he was doing things like that. Good for him.
To better the world, like he really is.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, I believe is, you know, take the good with the bad. Unfortunately, it's like, yeah, I might have a stupid hat on, but I'm feeding a lot of people.
Valid points. Yeah.
He probably thought it was a great idea if it was his own. Like, oh no, people are gonna love this. They're gonna talk about it all over the place. He probably thought I'm gonna be the #1 hit, and then Kanye's wife stepped in.
Yeah. Once.
But they didn't let her in. They didn't let her in though.
No. They won't go into the Grammys. They did the red carpet,
and then they got kicked out.
Yeah. And then, but that was like that. Yeah, they weren't trying to go to the Grammys. He wanted that red carpet shock.
Yeah. Imagine sitting behind Will Smith's son with that hat on. You wouldn't see anything. I'm sure he took it off.
I'm sure.
I imagine being pissed is what I imagine being. I either got invited or I paid for these seats, and I'm very unhappy I'm behind Will Smith's son right now.
I wouldn't care if I got the seats for free. I'm not sitting behind no big mansion head.
Yeah. But that's kind of where I'd be with Bianca Censori's as well. No seat filler's going to want to sit there after she's been there without panties on.
Oh, right. Oh.
I'm just saying.
Well, thankfully they didn't have to find out.
No, they did not. But I do believe Kanye and his wife are getting divorced now because of this.
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
I know everyone's on him, but I'm like, he's mentally ill. Like, cut him a bit of a break.
Yeah, I mean,
All right, hold on. We're in a day and age though where medication solves a lot of problems. You have to be willing to be on the meds.
He's not willing to take the meds, and that does cause problems. That caused his relationship to end with Kim.
Yeah.
But bipolar is hard.
Yeah.
It is. It's a hard thing.
He hasn't been the same since his mom died. When his mom died, it's like that's when he flipped out. That's when he snatched the trophy from Taylor Swift and had the Hennessy and all that other stuff. But before that, you didn't hear any problems with him.
No.
I will say this. If you haven't seen his documentary, you have to check it out.
Okay.
It's probably one of the best documentaries I ever seen.
Is it just the Kanye West? I didn't even made the documentary about this.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix. I think it's called Yay something, but it was awesome.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, and it showed how he was up until his mom died. When she died, he just went insane because I was his best friend. But I mean, come on, it's been some years now. You got to get it together because you're just looking crazy.
Well, she also kept him on his medication. She also kept him on the straight and narrow.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody else can get him to agree to take the meds again because he's, But that being said, he is brilliant at music. He is brilliant at design.
Oh, even now, yeah.
Like you have his tennis shoes.
I do have his tennis shoes.
Like you really like. He's a great designer. He's a great artist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one thing for sure. He's always been very good in the music scene, no matter what. Even long after the Taylor Swift, long after his mother passed away, he's still putting out hits that people are going to listen to for years to come, and he's still got more. It's like he can pull it together enough to make the music, and then everything else kind of trickles away. He puts all of his energy towards the craft, and the rest of it kind of go by as the wayside.
That might be his safe place. The studio might be his safe place.
That makes sense.
I like
Absolutely.
that. I think everyone needs to have one. Yours is the gym. What's yours, Vincent? What's your safe place?
The kitchen. Getting something to eat.
Okay. I'm just hungry.
My home. My home is my safe place. My home, here with my wife and my baby girlsy Macy, the dog. That's my safe place.
That's good. That's good. Everyone needs one. I like that your home could be a safe place too. Sometimes home could be its own stressor where people need to go out from home to feel safe and comfortable. And
I work at home. I want to leave home all the time.
Yeah.
It's your work.
I'm blessed that it's not like that. If I'm having a hard day, I can come home and everything is going to be cool. And me and Takoya, matter of fact, today is my wife's birthday. Happy birthday, wifey.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. So it's like she's a school teacher. She teaches TK, which is the really little kids.
Yeah.
So when she comes home, she's ready to relax. So I have to make sure that I don't, put more drama on her than she's already gone through, and vice versa. So when we get home, it's just, hey, peace of mind.
I like that. That's really cool. All right, she's teaching the youngest kids able to right now. How did you two end up meeting? Was she teaching at the time?
I met her at a Walking Dead convention.
Oh, fair.
I
Got
like
it.
that. I like that.
Yeah, she lived in Chicago, and true story, I saw her daughter, and her niece walk up, and I said, and I was just playing around. I said, "Here's my future wife and kids." I swear
Oh,
to you, we every time we do an interview or whatnot, we talk about that. We never exchanged numbers. It was just, good fun. I was getting out of a relationship, and then she was about to get out of a relationship. I end up maybe a month later, I end up going to Singapore to film a movie.
Mhm.
And it was around my birthday, but it was a month later. And she just hit me on Instagram and said, "Happy birthday." And I told her, if you're stalking me, just say you're stalking me because it's not my birthday. Her niece had told her it was my birthday. And so for the whole 3 months I was there, we kept in contact, email, because the whole time difference was huge.
Yeah.
And then when I got back, we saw each other. And then we ended up dating 4 years long distance. And then when we got married, we was married 1 year long distance. And then
Wow.
she finally moved here.
That is really hard to make
that is
that
incredible.
work.
No, that
Holy
is meant
shit.
to be. When that
Yeah.
happens, it is meant to be. When someone is willing to put in that level of effort, like she went after him, she knew what she was doing. She went after him, she wanted
Yeah.
him, she got him. Good for her.
And the thing about it is, everybody talks bad about Spirit Airline, but Spirit was our best friend because it was so cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make the trips back and forth.
Mhm.
Yeah, so she
Oh,
would
man.
come, the time she was off for school, for the summer, she would come. Holidays, she would come, and we put in the effort. And now I must say, you have to be in a good place, as far as trusting. Because a lot of my friends were like, "Well, did you ever cheat on her?" I'm like, "No," for the simple fact that I'm trying to get to a specific place in my career, in my life. Yes, it would have been easy for me to cheat on her, but God would have saw me, and He
Yeah.
wouldn't bless me. If you believe in God or whoever you believe in, and I always kept that in mind. I've been there and done that, over the years, as far as cheating and doing whatever. My first time on TV was on a show called Jenny Jones. I'm a player and she knows it. And for years,
I love
for
that.
yeah,
Sorry.
the early 90s, for years out, every time, this is when I still lived in Ohio. No
Yeah.
matter where I went, I was known as Jenny Jones. And as the years went on, being out there in the streets doing whatever with different women, I always dreamed that a woman would someday kill me. So,
Yes.
after I start thinking that, I'm like, I got to get my stuff together. And now I will say this, it's not because I was dogging women out or, making them feel some kind of way. But let's be honest, when sex is involved with any situation, people's mind kind of change. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
absolutely.
So I was like, I have to get myself together in order to be right for somebody else. And that's what I've done.
Maybe you were
I
having
like that.
premonitions of what if you continued this path after you met your wife?
Nah, after I
maybe
met her, but after I met her, because I've been married before. I started
Okay.
doing that the last time I was married. I started feeling that kind of way of trying to be a good man and a good person. I
I
just
like
had the wrong woman at that time. So
that.
when I
Gotcha.
met Takoya, I knew this was the one. And it wasn't because, she emailed me. I always found her attractive. But like I said, I was getting out of a situation and I wasn't going to bring her in my situation till that situation was over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
That's
that. That's
wonderful. Very
respectful. I really
respectful.
like that.
Yes.
That's very good.
Yeah,
Now,
and I think a lot of times people don't do that. It's not fair to bring somebody in your situation and that person is still there acting crazy. So, no, I didn't want that for her.
No, you really
I like
handled
that.
it the way you should. It's a good example,
Mhm.
as you were saying earlier, be an example for other people. That's another way you can be that role model, not just for work, entertainment purposes, but how to be a human, how to
You
be a
need
good
to
man.
you need to clip this for your
Mhm.
how to be a man stuff.
Yeah, I do segments on my channels talking about what it means to be a good person and more so a good man for the younger generation coming up, and that's a really good example.
He's
of it,
trying
actually.
to counteract what's his face,
The Andrew Tate thing that went on
because that's
for a
what's
few
going
years.
on with all the young guys. They'll contact him for these fights and be like, "How do I be a man? I'd love to see you do that." Like, just
he went to jail, right?
Yeah,
and
so
he just got released.
So him and his brother went to jail for trafficking women and drugs. They released them, and now they're both free in Romania, but they're in like some type of limbo situation where they can't really leave the country and do anything, but they're not on house arrest. They're able to freely move in that area.
But he's back to making content.
Right.
Yeah,
you know, those type of people, eventually that stuff will catch up with them. We might not see what happened to them, but eventually something bad will happen to them. Or they might change their life around. Who knows? But they still traffic people, so ain't no turning nothing around for that.
No, absolutely.
That's the moment I was like, he's the one that needs to be stabbed by one of the women. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
like that's
definitely.
He's not dreaming of that.
Mm-hmm. That's the difference. He wouldn't get the warning. Where Vincent's, the universe to Vincent was like, God's like, no, we don't want this to happen.
We like
it. Not for you to do.
And I would dream about it like I was watching it happen. I was just like,
that's a warning. That's a warning. It's a warning. But most guys I know, like you had that phase, I think have that phase where they're just like, how many girls can I get and what can I do here?
Right.
Maturing is getting past that and going, oh, this is stupid. Like someone's stabbed me.
I'm gonna tell you something I never said out loud. You remember the song by TLC, Chasing Waterfalls?
Yes.
No more chasing water. It's a part where they was talking about the dude catching AIDS. And I remember I had never got tested. And I could never listen to that song. And one day I was like, let me go get tested. And thank God it came out negative. And then when the song started coming back on, I would blast it and be singing it. Like, yes!
Panic.
I'm negative.
It no longer raises the blood pressure to listen to it.
Yeah, it did. It made me nervous because I'm like, man, I started thinking about, I'm like, I ain't never been tested, for HIV or AIDS or whatnot. And then listening to that song always made me nervous. And then I said, forget this crap. Let me go and get tested.
I
like that. No, that's a strength thing too, though. You didn't let it sit there and you didn't hide from what could be. You went and you dealt with it.
Yeah.
So, I know that you're doing, so for those of you out there, we're talking with HBO and BBC about a show called Receiver of Many based on Rachel Alexander's best-selling book. We're looking at Vincent actually to do the audiobook and be in the TV show, but you guys don't know that. That's a secret. What else are you up to, Vincent?
I filmed NCIS a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
I actually just I play a detective. March 27th, you can see me on Bosch Legacy. And I actually just got booked today for something. I forgot the name of it. Hold on, I forgot the name of it.
All right,
I sent the audition in yesterday. Oh, I know what it is. Beef 2.
Oh, cool.
Cool. Okay.
Yes.
I like that they immediately come around like, yeah, this guy, we need him.
Yes. I auditioned for. I think that's the show my boy Steven Yen is on. It's from The Walking Dead.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I actually film it tomorrow. So if you heard my phone vibrating, it was actually wardrobe calling.
Man, that's a 3-day turnaround, right there. Audition, hire, let's go.
Yeah.
That's a constant professional. Makes sense.
But I think that's also another a good representation of your work ethic and how you've conducted yourself throughout the years. Because they could have seen your audition like, that guy's great, looked you up, and like, oh shit, we don't want this dude on our set.
Right.
Their immediate reaction was like, get him on now. We needed him yesterday. So that's really cool.
And speaking of acting, rest in peace to Gene Hackman and his wife and his dog.
This morning, 85. He just passed today.
Oh shit.
Gene Hackman.
Yeah, but they thinking it was some
foul play, really?
Yeah, some foul play.
They think something happened. So you guys know, this is premiering on Friday. We're recording this on Wednesday. So we just found out today. By Friday, you guys will probably know what happened to him, but we don't right now.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's happened to him.
I think today's Thursday.
Yeah, today is Thursday. Because I'm like, wait a minute,
it's Wednesday? And Bear went to the hospital instead.
I just went with the flow. I'm like, okay.
No, I appreciate that. You got to keep continuity up, though.
It's Thursday, and I got to say thank you, Vincent. We were supposed to record with him yesterday. Bear tried to die. So we had to record this Thursday. Vincent, can you tell everyone where your social media is and where they can follow you? Because I want Bear's audience to go follow you.
I appreciate it. At Vincent M Ward, Vincent M Ward, and I just went back to TikTok. So on TikTok, I am Vincent M Ward.
I like that.
Excellent.
And then, guys, tomorrow in Orange County, Bear will be doing, and I will be doing a talk essentially on social media and how to get big there. Can we put up the flyer really quickly?
Yes, it's the Abundant Life Expo in Laguna Woods. I believe there it is, Laguna Woods Village, Clubhouse number 5. We'll be there in person discussing health, wellness, fitness, and me particularly how I incorporate martial arts into it.
Can we get back to Vincent? He's more interesting than you are.
That's okay.
Oh, please. Look at that handsome guy on that flyer.
Thank you.
So, guys, make sure you are following Vincent. And for those girls, please remember, when you send pictures to the show, they don't go to Vincent, they come to me. And I don't like it.
It's a staple of all your shows, man. They have
boy.
You and women.
At some point, they're not sending it just because you're sending it because it's like, oh, he's on the show again. Just get it off. Shoot my shot.
Oh, man.
Leave him alone and stop sending the pictures to me.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me. Thank you.
Thank you so
for
much
coming on.
for
You always
on
make
show.
it such a good show when we have you.
It's always so much fun.
Indeed. Take care.
Take care.
Peace.
Guys, thank you for joining us for Behind the Scenes. I'm your host,
real behind the
Summer
scenes.
Helene, and that's the real behind the scenes. I know we were just chatting with Vincent. He is one of my favorite people. I actually really, really want him for Bunny Man, which is
Man?
You'll see. It
sounds like a horror film.
It's a horror film, but we're also doing a TV show of Zombie with a Shotgun, and I want him for that. So I just want Vincent for everything because he's so good. He's so good. I always recommend Vincent. Guys, thank you for joining us. And that, by the way, is what you do if you want to get famous, if you want people backing you. I always suggest Vincent for everything, simply because he's excellent, he's professional, and I like him. And being liked is damn important in Hollywood.
Yeah, being personable, having a good personality, getting people to be interested in you, being able to hold a conversation back and forth. Just honestly, I think even just listening sometimes to somebody else, let the other person talk is a great way to get people to like you. So there's some more advice for you right there.
I'm not good at that part. Guys, thank you for joining us on Behind the Scenes. I'm your host, Summer Helene. We're on with my co-host, Bear Fiorda. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
This has been Behind the Scenes with the Baroness and Bear Fiorda. Only on Talk 4 Media.